Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Mr. Chairman of the Store and Sons, eminent journalist, Mr. N. Ram, editor of India's respected newspaper, The Hindu, Mukund Padmanabhan, our old friend, Mr. Narayanan, my personal friend, Mr. Anand Sahai, the distinguished delegation to me, the chairman of the Yes Bank, and Suhasini Haidar, she surely is around here, met her just a few minutes ago. I'm always delighted, beyond your imagination, to find myself in India, for so many, many reasons. Reasons of history, reasons of my own experience, reasons of connectivity that Mr. Ram referred to, reasons of culture, heritage that we share together. And therefore, whenever I'm in India, and always in my public remarks, I say, "Ye mulaqat ek bahana hai, pyar ka silsila purana hai." Between myself in India and between Afghanistan and Afghanistan's people in India, and indeed between the cultures of the two countries, the common heritage that we have. It's my first time, ladies and gentlemen, in the IT center of Asia, of India, in Bangalore. I'm better in pronouncing it as Bangalore, but I'll say Bangalore, the golden city of India. And we arrived at the airport yesterday, the day before yesterday. We loved it very, very much. Tremendous hospitality, tremendous warmth, and a quiet, polite mannerism in people here that has left a deep impression on me. Now, before we go to talk about the subject that the Hindu has set for us, the conclave has set for us, the Huddle, and the strategic arc for South Asia, I must say, as an Afghan, and thank India for the tremendous assistance that India gave us in the past 14 years. Immense assistance, you can't imagine. Ladies and gentlemen, India traditionally is not a donor country. It has its own immense needs. There's still poverty in India. But India, in spite of all that, gave us over $3 billion. Educated thousands of Afghans every year. 1,000 young Afghans every year on India's scholarship for us. And thousands of other Afghans who came on their own. A favorite destination of education. Power lines, transmission lines, dams, roads. I can keep going on till the end of my speech. So much has been given, and I thank you very, very much. Now, the subject before us, the imagining of a strategic arc for South Asia, is to me nothing less than the harnessing of our resources and national power to further the aim of peace for ourselves and others. It is on such edifice, in the making of which India, given its history, culture and power, should emerge as the pivot so that an arc promoting peace and welfare can be constructed. As one who sets great store by the life and the work of Mahatma Gandhi, and one who has never indeed held a gun, but sadly has been witness to enough violence to kill many lives, it has been my endeavor, both in and out of office, to work for peace and to prefer peace over all other actions and things that we go about in our life. In the conduct of international affairs, in which big nations and small seek to maximize their gains and bring prosperity to their peoples, It is my deep conviction, ladies and gentlemen, that when we huddle, we should always be mindful not to push the pursuit of our interests at the cost of basic human morality. Those who have huddled, taking advantage of their technology and military wealth to take war to others, have not only killed wantonly and set up torture chambers, they can be said to have ransacked our human civilization and our heritage, ruined our lives and brought sorrow on an unimaginable scale to peoples. Nations have been wrecked and societies tripled before our eyes in the recent years. In our scheme of things, therefore, the accent has to be togetherness, on collective thinking in order to pave the way for acting conjointly in a cause that raises the lives of ordinary people who make up nations. Peacefulness is a prerequisite in this enterprise. Do I sound very idealistic? No, I don't think so. I'm not an idealist. When major wars have erupted and destroyed us comprehensively, statesmen and nations have conferred to restore sanity. Wasn't that what led to the formation of the United Nations? Did the non-aligned movement of yesteryears, which still is a great idea, not rest on the bedrock of the idea of saying no to domination, which wreaked havoc on poor peoples of the world? The Cold War gripped the world right after the Second World War ended, and peace eluded us in a number of ways. Conflict continues to rage at the conclusion of the Cold War. The dawn of a multipolar world is upon us. But in the twilight zone in which we find ourselves in this dawn of the multipolar world, peace remains elusive as well for the people of the world. We must therefore act before conflict gets out of hand and further, and not allow it to move ahead. Washington and Moscow were the principal power centers for decades after World War II and remain crucial to shaping the dynamics of today's reality in our international community. But before our eyes, we have seen the emergence of Beijing and New Delhi, representing massive populations and also economic heft and power that is crucial to the stability of our international system. The structure of the multipolar world that looks to be emerging based on these realities must be grounded in search for peace. This should be evidenced in the cooperative actions of these great powers, meaning India, China, together with the other two world powers, Russia and the United States. This should be evidenced in the cooperative actions of these great powers so that people's hopes for the 21st century may find fulfillment. World opinion, most important of all, here for our conclave, world opinion expects India to play the role of healer, of bridge builder, and initiator of peace in the conflicted international arena which some of the world's most influential nations have brought about. Rather, I should say, have brought about for us. In the emerging multipolar reality, this can be India's mission. It will benefit us all in our region and beyond. India, ladies and gentlemen, is not a country. To me, and surely to many of us around here and the world, India is a powerful idea. It's a desire, it's a wish, it's an idea. It has been a wise leader. It has never been a young activist. It's been a statement. And in the not too distant past, it could rally to the cause of people around the world against apartheid in South Africa and against colonialism around the world. It could do so by invoking a paradigm of development premised on the fundamental notion of peace at a time when it has just emerged from colonial rule itself. Its only strength then was purity of intention and a noble voice. It rejected the very idea of bloc wars and spoke to the nations of the world of raising people's power for peace and prosperity, away from the politics of war. Today, India can show us the way again and play its part in recognition of its full role. It has the heritage to do so and possesses the intellectual capacity and the necessary power. It can be for the world a beacon of cooperation and integration. While making new alliances in the changed circumstances she finds herself in, she has the capacity to preserve traditional friendships and to find common ground with rivals. That should be her strength. It arises from her experience of the past and strengthens the present day. This great country also has the wherewithal to redefine the way in which to promote national interests, based on the exalted idea of human dignity and basic morality, which India represents the best around the world. And this is something that the people of the world, including myself, look up to India for. And we are rather more hopeful that India will deliver to us what we have in our expectations of her. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, it is my sincere belief that we can pick up peace from the menu that is in front of us. No matter in which part of South Asia we are, our people are carrying lives towards betterment as a desire and as a daily endeavor of ours. It is not possible without ensuring peace, our desire to be better and to improve our lives. Let our statesmen work toward that default position. In the ancient land of Afghanistan, from where I come, huddling together to sort out issues is a fine, holy tradition. And the bigger the huddle gets, the bigger it is called the Loya Jirga of Afghanistan, by which the international community and all of us are aware of this good tradition of the Afghan people. In recent times, we have huddled together more often in order to evolve consensual policies for the betterment of our country. In this spirit, Afghanistan would welcome the opportunity to engage constructively with its friends, meaning India, in order that together India and Afghanistan may play our part in providing a pathway for the integration of the larger region. Excellencies, it is my submission that a strategic arc in South Asia can have no basis other than conversation, other than dialogue, other than engagement for cooperation and for peace in order for us to achieve. And away from war and the threat of extremism and violence that some try to impose upon us. Any other starting point is conceptually a non-starter. And conversations in concert for the sake of peace can help the withdrawal of the threat of violence even by elements that we by now know as non-state actors. And for non-state actors, those who act, we know, are given nurture by state actors in many regions, including our own region, unfortunately. In fact, it is fair to say that these proxy forces who are the face of radical extremism have been brought into the world by those who seek to dominate others or extract political concessions. There's enough evidence of this in the Afghan context and surely also in India's. Reforming the neighborhood in order to craft a strategic arc should come from within us, by the people of our countries in order to resolve historical discourse. We, in our region, in order to resolve historical discourse, we in our region may put our heads together how best to devise incentives that might help change the long-held behavioral patterns of the violence makers, so that they may see no profit in perpetuating the bad boy act to extract concessions. This is very much a part of political and strategic conversations of the future, so that an art of peace may be visualized. India, ladies and gentlemen, in this whole arrangement is the linchpin of South Asia. That is how we see it in Afghanistan. And that is surely how many other countries of this region see India as well. Not only in this region, but in the broader region and in the global arrangements. For India has resources, it has imagination, it has dignity, and it has been a civilization that has privileged peace for centuries. It can pull its weight to move us in the desired direction. We should recall Gandhiji here, who held that non-violence was as old as the hills. In The Young Indian, he wrote, "I am not a visionary. I claim to be a practical idealist. The religion of non-violence is not merely meant for the rishis and the saints. It is meant for the common people as well. Non-violence is the law of our species." In Gandhiji's way, let us try to be practical idealists. And if we huddle together, if we do not attempt to compose our own differences for the sake of our people, others whose aim it may not be peace but domination would seek to melt. That is the logic of power politics, unfortunately. Our strategic art should not be built on the basis of the politics of power between nations. Ladies and gentlemen, today, China and Russia, as two other big global players, are also neighbors of ours in South Asia. Immediate neighbors of us in South Asia. Their actions impact us, and ours impact them. If we are able to incorporate them in a virtuous arc, if we throw our weight behind resolving any bilateral hurdles within this arc that distort relationships, then we may be well on our way to taking meaningful steps forward. The mantra here is that no one country should seek to dominate others in this region. If a country's actions spread good beyond its borders, it will be looked up to in the natural course. And that will be through the eyes of peace, and not through anxiety or fear. The United States, at present, at this juncture, is sending to all of us signals of confusion. But it still is the world's single most important country in power, capable of causing destruction and capable of causing good both at the same time. Should it be led that way in its anxiety, then its capacity for good will be muted. Our combined energies should be harnessed to engage with the United States of America constructively, so that the cause of peace may be advanced. The foundations of America rest on noble principles. It is these high ideals that draw us to the people of the United States. As India negotiates its policies and relations to the world, it should bear in mind that it is central to the arc of power with which are entwined the hopes of peace and prosperity. The onus on India, ladies and gentlemen, given its great past, its considerable present strength, and its robust democracy, may be said to be greater in this respect than any other country. to take up the challenges of the present day and to carry others along, especially old, trusted friends, with the aim to remove hostilities, can be India's mission. That will benefit us all. India's actions and role should reflect the use of its power for the construction of peace, in contrast with those whose work has germinated hostilities. Ladies and gentlemen, most of our populations are very young. Such demographics should compel us to put away our bows and arrows and work toward mutually assured cooperation, which we so much need in this part of the world and globally. And ladies and gentlemen, it is with this hope that we look up to India to take a leadership role in the emerging bipolar world, where India is looked up to not just in South Asia, but globally as well. And I thank you very much once again.